So tell me about this bike. This is really unique.
My name's Chris Smith, and I'm with Cleveland Moto Podcast. So we'd love to have you guys on our podcast. But this is a Janus 2020 250cc. It's called the Halcyon. So it's a hardtail, so there's no rear suspension. The whole bike is built within 20 miles of Goshen, Indiana, with the exception of the motor and the front shocks.
Get a look at this bike. Pan around this a little bit. So Indiana. You said an exception of the motor and the front end.
Right here in Goshen, Indiana, right there. See that little star right there?
Wow, that's awesome.
So they started out building a 50cc bike. Then they upgraded to a 250, and they also have a 450. Now this is a single, so you know what that means. That's a thumper, right?
All right.
And the whole bike is designed from the ground up. So you decide what color you want, what kind of pinstriping. This is all hand painted. So there's a lady there that does all the hand painting, all the hand pinstriping. And
how much does this weigh again?
This weighs 268 pounds.
Okay, so I weigh more than this bike. That's awesome.
You and me both.
We're top heavy on this, but I thought this was straight out of like the 40s. This is so cool.
So you put a leg over it and you tipped it up. Tell the audience what you thought about it.
This is super light. It's got a kickstart too. If you come around here, this has a kickstart right here. And I threw a leg over it just a minute ago. It's a super light bike. I couldn't believe how light this bike was. Like, I feel like you could curl it almost a little bit. But it's super unique. They say they don't make them like they used to. Well, clearly they do, because we got one right here.
So this is called a Halcyon 250. Halcyon 250. So again, the saddlebags. So the saddlebags are made by Amish harness and saddle makers over in Indiana. All the leather work is all handmade, which is, you just don't get that anymore.
No, you don't.
They bend all their own steel.
It's like you got back everything they don't do anymore. Like craftsmanship, made in America.
Yep.
And it looks like it looks vintage, but it's brand new.
And you know what? It puts a smile on so many faces.
Yeah.
Because young guys like yourself, older guys like me will come up and say, "What year is this goddamn thing?" You know, it looks like a 1920 or something like that.
That was my thought exactly. Hers too.
Nah. Look at that. Look at that front plate up there.
Look at this. That's how they used to do it in the old days, right here.
So that's JM Janus Motors. This is build number 367.
Wow.
367. Now you can put your birthday on there. I know one guy put his divorce date on there and stuff like that. But the whole thing, look right here. Janus Motorcycles right there.
Oh, that's cool.
So what I did was I bought the extra, these are called ducktail fenders. You won't find ducktail fenders anymore.
Wow.
Now this front right here, this is called a leading link front suspension. So what that does is when you're driving your bike and you hit the front brakes, what happens? It dies, right? So leading link allows the front to settle back.
Wow.
Like that. So if I were to have you take this out and slam on the front brakes, you would feel it settle from the back, which is exactly the way you want it to feel rather than diving, right?
Absolutely.
And especially with new riders. New riders don't want to dive, right? They all want to settle back.
Absolutely.
Now, I will say the rear brake leaves something to be desired.
Yeah.
So there's an upgrade to the rear brake, but look at this. It's got the fishtail exhaust, right? And all this is chosen by you. Look at this. Who does this? Now this is scraped with my boots, but it's Janus Motors. That's their logo, like that. I got Janus Motorcycles right on the gas cap. This bike, I'm gonna tell you, if I put you on this bike for 30 minutes, you'd come back, you'd be grinning from ear to ear. I'm telling you, because you'd say, boy, this is so much fun. You go around these corners and stuff like that.
It looks super fun. It really does.
And you push it out. Pushing it out of the garage, nothing to it.
Piece of cake.
I tell you what, I can lift this up from the back and I can bounce it around and...
Hey, you got to turn around real quick.
Yeah. Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you for showing me this.
Nice to meet you.
Awesome.